The NCAA is a billion-dollar corporation. Making money is a giant part of what they do, and the most important revenue builder for the NCAA is the NCAA Men's Division I basketball tournament. In total, the college athletics governing body will earn somewhere around $900 million in revenue from the tournament, representing about 90% of its total annual revenue. 90% of its annual revenue? That is amazing when you consider all the other sports and tournaments that happen in the NCAA, like the college football playoff. And how does the NCAA make so much money from the tournament? Well, the answer is simple. It is because it is one of the most watched sporting events in the United States. Not just the championship game, the Final Four averaged 16.8 million viewers last year, but every single game within the tournament is watched. The 2017 March Madness this year was the most watched tournament in 24 years. That is why the tournament makes so much money, and they wouldn't make this money without the players. And to them, making the tournament is everything.
It would mean a lot to me personally and to the 16, 17 guys that are with me, but for most of it I think it would be huge for the school. From what I've heard when they went to the Sweet 16 in 2012, that they put the school on the map really, and they find, the nation finally figured out where Athens, Ohio was, and I think that's all about it is, and just shows the type of people we are here and the dedication we got to get to that tournament.
I can't really explain what that feeling would be, but I hear a lot of people who talk about the NCAA tournament, and they're really wild just by the atmosphere and everything. So I feel like just getting there with this team, what we've been through, and like sacrifices we've had to make, I feel like it would just be a very special moment for us, and it would just be, I don't know, it'd just be great. It'd be great.
I think 2012 was the last time we made it, so I think we have a lot of basketball fans at the school, and a rich program in history, and I think that people have kind of been hungry for us to get back there and support us, but obviously for us, we have a lot of guys on our team who've never played in an NCAA tournament. I haven't. I mean, it's something we talk about frequently, so it's definitely something that is always on our mind.
Making the tournament is the goal for some teams, but for the established programs, goals are much higher. Take, for example, the Duke Blue Devils. Duke has won the NCAA tournament 5 times, and their goal every single year is to win it all, while smaller teams like Ohio University, their goal is just to make the tournament. Duke isn't even the team with the most NCAA championships. The UCLA Bruins have 11, and were the front-runner for winning it almost every single year in the late 60s and early 70s. Some of the most prominent winners are UCLA with 11, Kentucky with 8, North Carolina with 6, Duke again with 5, and Indiana with 5. Now for the teams that are just trying to make it to the tournament, making it can bring a university tons of money. Take, for example, Florida Gulf Coast. Before Florida Gulf Coast made their NCAA tournament run in 2013, there were a no-name school making it to their first NCAA tournament, and it took less than 2 weeks for that team to become a household name for college basketball fans. After the NCAA tournament, the applications to the school increased by 27.5%, and the amount of money that the school made due to the one run in the NCAA tournament increased the revenue for the school immensely. Consumption of the tournament has also greatly increased. CBS and Turner Broadcasting have agreed to an $8.8 billion extension. TV ad spending has also increased by $1.24 billion. But what about the players? Ever since the NCAA started, paying players to play has been illegal, with the NCAA wanting to keep the idea of amateurism. Why don't these players deserve to be paid if they drive in so much money?
The argument is there's support both ways. I think, as you said, the reason why they should be paid is because there's so much money being made, and they're profiting off of us and off of our abilities and what we're doing on the court. So I think that's probably the main reason why athletes should be paid. But on the other hand, guys who are on scholarship, they've they've got it pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's I mean they get their tuition paid for. They get extra money for rent and a stipend for whatever else. I mean they really don't have to worry about paying for anything the 4 years that they're here. So I think it's not like they're playing for nothing. We're getting rewarded in some way, and may not be as much as athletes deserve, but it's something. And for a lot of people who have to pay for school, I think like having a scholarship to play a game that you love is you should feel fortunate to have that.
I mean, as an athlete, of course I might be a little biased to the situation because I think we should get paid. I'm not saying in big lump sums, but I'm saying just little portions. But I'm grateful for what we get. Definitely grateful for what we get. But on the other side of things, I don't think. I understand like people, we have a full scholarship, we get our housing and stuff paid for, and but as an athlete though, I think we've earned on that side. Like, understand, like, you got to understand different people's backgrounds. Like, some people really didn't have it as much, growing up. So those earnings, those are big to me and to my family, and I can vouch for a lot of other athletes out there too. So you can definitely see both sides of it, but I'm grateful for where I am. I'm glad I'm on a full scholarship though.
That's a really tough question for a student athlete, but on one end, I'm really blessed and humbled to receive the full athletic scholarship. It means a lot to me and my family, especially growing up and working towards that. On the other end, it's like a double-edged sword. I think that we bring enough to this university where we worked hard enough and like I said, bring enough to the university to accept a little bit more than what some people do. But then on the other hand, I see how, we got walk-ons on our team that are paying for everything, or they're working just as hard or harder than us, So it's a real tough situation.
The answer to playing players is not a simple answer. But one thing's for sure, the NCAA tournament will continue, and maybe even continue to expand. When the tournament started, it wasn't even the most important tournament to be a part of. The most important tournament to actually be a part of was the NIT, the National Invitational Tournament. But as time went on, the NCAA tournament was the one to be a part of, and since it gained that status, the teams making it to tournament have grown in size. One of the reasons why it has grown so much in size is to fit more bubble teams. But the bubble teams all come from Power 5 conferences, or at least non-mid-majors. So the question is, how do we make it possible for mid-majors to make it to the tournament without winning their conference?
Obviously, strength of schedule is huge nowadays, and with the RPI and all that good stuff. But I think the committee and the NCAA is looking at revenue and money that each school is going to bring into. So if, say, one school has a much bigger fan base than another, then that school is obviously going to be able to bring in more fans to the NCAA tournament and so forth. And I think that has a huge key.
In the committee, they always go by strength of schedule, and they always go for like more power schools because they feel like they're probably going to compete better, make more revenue. There's a lot of stuff that goes in behind that stuff. So that's probably why mid-majors don't get in as much as well.
There's probably no foolproof way to make up for the mid-majors who might get overlooked, but I think you really do have to consider record and the teams that the wins that you get more, because if going through a season and you say you're a mid-major school and you only lose 3 or 4 games, that's tough. Like, no matter who you're playing, like at the Division I level, like most leagues, if you go undefeated in conference play, or maybe you drop 1 game or something like that, that's tough. You're a good team if you can do that. I'd say in most conferences. So I think maybe they should take that into consideration a little bit more when it comes to the mid-majors in comparison to the Power 5 schools who might have, like you said, over 10 losses. Good teams win games no matter what, so I think they obviously should take that more into account.
No matter how you frame it, the NCAA tournament makes its name heard, whether it be through the good of winning a national championship or the bad of not playing the players for how much time they put in to make money for the NCAA. Either way, it is here to stay, and it is one of the most enjoyable sporting events of all time.